Lunch break, special herbs, fries and a sandwich. Unleashed on the city, maximize damage. Onlookers all famished. These guys is outlandish. Negro, Spanish, let go, don't brandish. Sent the super annuity, all grilling the booty, all groovy. Peach smoothie, Louis Delombi. She thought he'd spoil her. Daddy even call her. Become a baller, see the world get smaller. Straight through the optic, hot shit like chocolate. Catch a crotch kick for a botch hit. Full capacity, no room for error. Such audacity, villain, truth bearer. Like when your pops catch you all in the mirror staring, scared to death, acting like you ain't even hear him. Stay the shot, play the block. On his way to cop, Oye put the raw in the beans, not the tater tots. Outside, it could be young boys trading shots. You can make a lot, stay alert, it's equator hot. Suntan, mint oil, none ran, they've been loyal. Constituents prove light, reflect like tin foil. Break. Very nice. Very nice. I remember. It's going to come back to me. Yeah. Lunch break. Probably catch it all in one take. Tiny circles, none fake. Still feel the burn when the sun bakes. Lunch break. Catch it all in one take, small circle, none fake. Break dump cake for fun's sake. Nice burn when the sun bakes. Lunch break, say be wary of the new guy. Too high, dreamt he got knocked in Dubai. Saw a spry, shy cyclops chick with one blue eye. Too fly, but would you hit that? Oh my, draw conclusions, more than misleading. Suicidal extension cords and wrist bleeding. This dark focus is lonely, cold, 'tis the season. Lesson lead backs to self for this reason. Keep faith, electricity, these nouns is why at times we end text with 3 crowns. And why we load up with jewels like these rounds. Keep a couple of jokes for fools and these clowns. You can catch them at the bottom, and barely they be wicked on the daily trying to party. Or we could throw boulders at a glass house, watch her in the kitchen cooking naked with her ass out till she pass out.
This fool dude is an idiot. God damn. I love it. Fly low up there, baby. Fly low.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another motherfucking show. Another episode of 3 Niggas on YouTube. Tonight it's only going to be 2. Roe is out doing his Axel Foley. If you ever seen Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, or 3, then you know that Axel Foley is he's on vacation. Vacation. So shout out to him. Getting notifications over here on my phone because I'm just so popular. How you doing, Tone? Welcome back. You've been on vacation too. We all took a week off. You know how we do. You know how unpaid niggas do on the job. You know what I'm saying? So welcome back. Glad to have you. To all the folks out there watching, good evening. Glad that you could be here. Make sure you press the like button, because I know you got home training. I know your mama and your daddy taught you how to wipe your feet before you go in somebody's house and speak when you get in there too. You understand what I'm saying? So hit the like button. Bring your auntie. Make sure she's subscribed. Bring your granny, because I fuck with the MILFs too and the GILFs if they motherfucking money right. If you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, welcome back, Tone. How you doing, man? Glad that you made it back for another week to do another episode with me so that we could waste a little bit of time talking shit online.
What's good, man? Hey, by the way, you only speak when you go in somebody's house if you ain't trying to rob it. I'm just saying.
I know that's right. Unfortunately, man. Oh, by the way, man, tonight's episode is called NWO. And I know a lot of you suspicious ass motherfuckers think that it mean New World Order. And it do, but it don't. It really mean niggas with opinions, because that's what the fuck we is tonight. 2 niggas with opinions. But we're going to talk about the NWO too for all you conspiracy theorists motherfuckers out there. What did you say again, Tom?
I said if you going into somebody's house you don't speak if you're trying to rob that motherfucker.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. I never go in and I never tried to rob anybody in their house. That's a very dangerous, just logistically, that's a dangerous situation because you don't know what they got in their house. You understand what I'm saying? And
but I'm trying to expand our demographic.
Oh Lord.
We want niggas to listen to, man.
We want the
criminals. We want niggas to listen to, not just Negroes. We want niggas to listen to.
Oh man, I know that's right. I could dig it. But that is an interesting observation, if I may say so myself. I've never even thought about that. But I did see Strap, by the way, with Bokeem Woodbine. You ever seen that HBO movie?
No, I ain't never seen it.
Man, you got to check it out if you ever get the chance to check it out. Strap, it came out in the 90s with Bokeem Woodbine and your man Fredro Starr. Yo, he pulled a move like that, but he spoke when he went in. You know what I'm saying? He tried to smoke Bokeem Woodbine in the projects in his mama house, yo. That shit was crazy. But check it out. Anyway, I know that you got opinions, Tone. I got opinions, and I'm pretty sure all niggas got opinions. And you know how the cliche go that an opinion is like an asshole. Everybody got one. So, following the logic, would that imply that niggas are assholes?
I think that's just saying niggas got a lot of shit.
I know that's right.
They got a lot of shit to get off their chest.
So it's been like 2 weeks, man, since the last time we got a chance to get together and kick it, man. What you got to get off your chest that happened over the last 2 weeks, man? What have you been paying attention to that you find important that you would like to share with the people?
Oh man, this may sound real cliche, but my motherfucking gas tank is starting to be my motherfucking number one enemy right now. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh Lord, say it ain't so.
Greedy motherfucker, man, just eating up all my pennies and quarters.
Them Arab people over there getting fat payday off you, ain't they?
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I swear to God, I should own stocks in like Dubai or something.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, I was sitting back thinking about it because I don't really buy too many stocks. It's only and this is not financial advice, but it's only 3 stocks that I would put money on, and that's Amazon, Google, and Tesla. Those are pretty much the only 3 stocks that I'm willing to actually spend any money on. Everything else, fuck that shit. I'm heavy on the crypto on the crypto side of things because while there's a lot of downside, the upside is 4 times as high. So in the stock market, you can make 5%, 10% in a year over your whole portfolio. I could do that in like a month in crypto. You know what I'm saying? But
so what you're saying is
my gas situation is not that crazy. As a matter of fact, it hasn't really changed that much, except for obviously the price. But I mean, I still use the same amount of gas.
Shit. Man, I can't. Shit. I'm trying to find a car that run on crypto and shit. Fuck it.
You better get to a Tesla, man.
Give me a Bitcoin mobile in this motherfucker.
Hey, I put an article up on my See, people don't really be paying attention to my Instagram. They really be. I think a lot of people check my Instagram out for the fuckery. You know what I'm saying? Because I put a post up on my Instagram where some dude had bought a Tesla, one of the new models, and he was using it because it's computerized, but he was using it to mine crypto, and he was mining like $800 a month in crypto, which basically, essentially, the car is paying for itself. Right. And I thought that was some real fly shit. But That's the kind of shit that I have opinions on, which is why I posted it. You know, I don't personally own a Tesla myself, but when I seen that, it really piqued my interest. But the downside of owning a Tesla is it's real easy to equip that kind of a car with a kill switch.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying, more so than it is with a gas powered car. I mean, I don't know if you're familiar, but they got that kind of a switch in these gas powered cars where if you don't make the payment on time, they'll cut that motherfucker off on your ass.
Yeah, but if you know the right nigga, you can get that shit taken off.
It'll be that nigga that don't speak when he come in your house.
Right. You're like, hey, just fix the car. Don't come in my crib.
I know that's right.
We do this at your house.
That nigga roll up on you like Michael Myers and shit.
Dressed like him and everything.
So other than that, man, how's the family? How's work?
Oh man, everything smooth. I just did a show on Saturday. It went good.
Oh, okay. Oh, talk about it. Talk about it while I smoke on this joint over here.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Fuck you talking about? You know me. What's with all the questions?
Hey, man, you know what they say, man. Great minds think alike. So, you know, that's why we do this show together.
Hey, man. Shit, man. Honestly, this week has been like a chill week as far as like just like anything going on. I had my mind kind of focused on like the show, like I said. I spoke on some of the shit we really talking about right now, like how gas prices are so high. I've been looking up horses and shit.
Oh man, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing motherfuckers post that shit on Instagram. Motherfuckers riding around on horses. I seen one post on Instagram with a white dude. That motherfucker rolled up through the McDonald's on the motherfucking horse. I was like, that motherfucker probably got some ass for doing that shit too. Because that's some fly shit that you don't see every day. And it take a lot of confidence to roll up on a motherfucking horse through the motherfucking drive with a goddamn
can I get a burger or fries?
Yeah, can I get you roll up to motherfucking you roll up to goddamn Burger King talking about can I get a Whopper, and that shit is made out of horse meat.
Y'all got cup holders? Y'all got cup holders?
Man, I'll tell you, man, these gas is outrageous, but you are
cheap.
You 30, right? 30 years old?
31.
31. That's right. Happy belated birthday. I believe I told you happy birthday on your birthday, but just in case I didn't, happy belated birthday. 31 years old. So that would make you a millennial, like my nephew, even though he's a little bit younger than you. He's on he like me. He at the end of the generation. So I'm at the end of Generation X. You a millennial. Matter of fact, you only a couple years younger than the little young lady I used to mess with. And she's a millennial too. My nephew's a millennial, but he was born in like 98. So he on the very, very end. But goddamn, the reason why I mention that is because I know that you guys as a group, you understand? Y'all didn't get a chance. Y'all wasn't around. Y'all was born in the 80s, in the mid 80s. You know, that's when y'all generation start, the millennials. But y'all wasn't around in the early 80s and the late 70s because this same thing was happening then, where we had high inflation, high unemployment, and the fucking gas was off the chain. This was back in the days when my pops used to drive an Electra Deuce in the goddamn quarter when the motherfucking, you had to fill the gas up. The gas tank was located behind the motherfucking license plate, nigga. Where you had to flip the license plate down to get to the gas.
Nigga had to crank the car to start it up.
So I say that to say that I've seen this before. You understand what I'm saying? And right now, to be perfectly honest, I'm feeling like a goddamn genius because I had 2 bikes and 3 cars. Now I'm down to just 1 bike because I can't ride all them shits. And the only downside is I wish I would have waited a little while longer before I got rid of the cars because I could have made a little bit more. But I'm feeling like a fucking genius right now because shit, even though even though I allot myself a specific amount of money every month to spend on gas, I'm not even spending half of that. I'm not even spending a third of it every month. And so I take that extra money and dump it into crypto or roll it over to the next month for gas. But man, what do you think about this situation, especially being a millennial, man? Because the way that the establishment put it, man, y'all generation is fucked. And I can kind of empathize because my generation got fucked too. We got fucked over too by our parents and grandparents. Good evening, Miss Misha. How you doing? All the way from Canada. Them people, Justin Trudeau was a crazy motherfucker.
Bruh.
Up there.
Bruh.
How is he a native and he up there acting like white people?
Right, exactly.
freezing people bank accounts and shit. See, that's why you need Bitcoin, everybody, because they can't freeze it. And I know a lot of motherfuckers say, well, where I'm gonna go to spend my Bitcoin at? I'm doing an episode this coming Sunday on Bitcoin resources where I'll tell you, or I'll put you down, you know what I'm saying? You really need to holler at me in private about this because I can't put it out all the way, even though, you know what I'm saying, you know, it ain't like they don't know, but, you know,
once everybody start flooding to it, they're going to start trying to get rid of that shit.
Well, they can't get rid of it. That's the thing.
But you know what I mean? Like trying to find ways to convince people.
You could spend your Bitcoin. Like, for instance, if I got Bitcoin, right, and you got dollars, we can exchange. You understand what I'm saying? All you need is a Bitcoin wallet if you was willing to take it. But I say that to say that even if they shut you off from the exchanges, you can still exchange Bitcoin peer-to-peer from person to person. That's the way it's designed. That's why they can't stop it. And I just found this shit out today. But Bitcoin, the market cap of Bitcoin is bigger than all of the banks in Europe combined. That's crazy. That's why these motherfuckers don't like that shit. But at this point, there's nothing that they could do to stop it because you literally got to shut off the whole internet. And if you shut off the whole internet, then you go cut everything off. And, you know, I mean, you can't do that.
That's why they try to come out. That's why they trying to come out with the metaverse shit. So you can't even do that.
Well, that's part of the reason why they coming up with the metaverse shit, right? Is because we get into a point, and I had this thought one time, and I said to myself, you know, we shouldn't be working. I mean, we had a point, you know, in our evolution in civilization where everything should be free. And part of the reason why they're introducing the metaverse is because a lot of the jobs that we do can be automated, which means those people don't have to work, which means those people will have a lot of free time to be creative and come up with new shit. And see, the people who are in charge don't want you to have time to sit around and think about shit, because then you might think about how to get rid of them. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the direction that the world is moving in. And you can see it when you go to the McDonald's or when you go to the Walmart, to the grocery store. You see these self-checkout lines. Your car can damn near drive itself. It's called cruise control. So, like, you know, I'm pretty sure you've seen the movie The Matrix before, or any of these futuristic type movies, but that's the direction that you know the world is moving in, where we gonna have like a Renaissance type period. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Well, what if I told you I think something almost opposite of that? I think they want things to be automated, so I think there's a group of people that want things to be automated so they can force. So, like, how would a person? So once that becomes automated, right? Let's say like you automate a whole Walmart. All of those people don't have a job. How will they afford to shop at the Walmart?
That is what's being worked on and figured out now, really, to be perfectly honest with you. And on one hand, you see, like with Bitcoin, for example, where what Bitcoin is trying to accomplish is trying to wrestle away the power over the monetary system from people being able to be in control of it. And what that will result in is it will allow for wealth to actually be able to be equally distributed. Right. And the system that we live in now is in a constant battle to prevent that from happening. You understand what I'm saying? So they do everything that they can to convince you that you need to be working for 40 hours a week doing something that you could probably accomplish in 24 hours. You understand what I'm saying? Because like
I get
I
that
was
aspect
saying,
of it, but I don't feel like Bitcoin. I feel like Bitcoin has its own mission aside from the whole automated thing.
Yeah, well,
I think Bitcoin and the whole idea of making everything automated are on two different sides.
Well, it's two lines of thought that I'll describe it as behind the automation thing. One is that technology, which is what automation is, makes things cheaper for us. But as a consequence, it also requires us to do less work. You understand what I'm saying? Right. It goes hand in hand. So, like, for example, you only 31. So, but you was around with cell phones before smartphones, right?
Right.
But when smartphones came out, they was better than the first round of cell phones.
Right.
But when smartphones first came out, they was real expensive. Now you can get one for like $1.
Right.
And you can be more productive with it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But the other line is like the George Orwell 1984 line of thinking, where it could also be used against you to control you. And this is the role that Bitcoin, comes in to assist in preventing them from doing, at least where the money is concerned. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's fully integrated into the technology because it runs on the internet. Everything runs on the internet.
So what happens when they shut down? Okay. So I'm saying, so like, for instance, how would a person earn Bitcoin at that point?
It would be no different than the way that you earn money now. And so, so what will have to happen is we will have to come out of the way we have been thinking and living and evolve to doing it another way. And you kind of see that going on happening now. So a lot of people is elected not to go back to work, right? You see it quite a few of these people doing what? Becoming entrepreneurial. You see it happening right here on YouTube.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you monetize yourself by building a community and a network up around yourself.
Right, but what happens when there's a bunch of chiefs and no Indians?
There's always going to be Indians.
Right, but okay, so look at like
there's always going to be followers, Tom. Most people.
I get what you're saying. But then how would those followers monetize themselves to be able to purchase from the person they follow? The point that I'm trying to say is like, so when everything becomes automated, you end up creating less opportunities for people to earn on our set of like however we decide to distribute money to value.
See, you thinking like how you thinking like how it works now,
Right.
But
also, what I'm also saying. Go ahead.
you thinking how, and this is the difficult part about thinking about things like this is we have a tendency to only think from the reference that we have, which is this current system. It's hard for us to imagine, for example, it's hard for us to imagine living in a system where you don't have to go about getting a house like you do now. So for example, let's say you got a guild of people and all they do is build houses, right? And they do it for everybody. But then you got another group of motherfuckers that do this particular thing, but they do it for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, what will inevitably happen, or what is in all likelihood going to happen, is if the money gets fixed, right? Then what you'll see is that we get more for less. So you don't have to work 40 hours a week in order to live that same kind of a lifestyle. But the system that we live in now does everything that it can to prevent us from continuing and allowing things to deflate for it to become cheaper for us.
Right. So what I'm saying is, first of all, what you sound like you describing to me is a communist society.
No, not communist.
Okay, hold on. I mean, similar to a communist society.
For example, hold on. Let me get my example. Let me get my example together. Okay. Come back to me. I gotta think this out.
Okay.
I gotta think this
okay.
out. So you said communist society, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so basically what I'm saying is, okay, we live in this world, right, where let's say everything is automated. So everything is automated and everything is free. What would stop me from going into a store and just buying up all the hot sauce or taking all the hot sauce?
If the hot sauce is free, you wouldn't have any incentive to take it all, because if it's free, how would you sell it to anybody?
What if I just wanted to have all the hot sauce to myself? I mean, it's ignorant people like that in this world. You can't say it's not.
Yeah,
we just go to the store and just take.
That is true. But then again, you know, in such a situation, like I just pointed out, you really wouldn't have any incentive to do that except to just be being an asshole. And then at that point, I would imagine that there would be some kind of backstops to prevent people from doing stuff like that, because it wouldn't be necessary.
Right. But what if I took all the hot sauce and I started to sell it?
It's like if you showed up to the continental breakfast in the hotel in the morning, and you could take all of the bagels, but you very rarely see people do that. And the reason is because there's no incentive to do so. You're not going to profit anything.
Well, he can sell Bitcoin. He can sell it for Bitcoin.
Well, not if it's free. If it's free, you can't sell it.
But
For
if there's no, let's say he took all the hot sauce and there's no supply for a week because they sent a week's worth of hot sauce.
Well, if that's,
And he was like, "You want some hot sauce? Holla at your boy for Bitcoin."
I would say that's not a good example to use. And the reason the reason being is because, like I said, there's really no incentive for you to commit such an act because the hot sauce is free. So there's no incentive for you to do it except to just be being mean. But I have a tendency to think that in such a system, those type of people wouldn't be tolerated. And at some point in time, that behavior would like be bred out, so to speak, or to put it another way, and that people would stop doing things like that because they will have no incentive to do it. So I'll use your very same example right now in the present today. If I went into the grocery store and you actually see people doing this, you just seen people do this like last year or the year before with the tissue. Remember?
Right.
They had an incentive to do it. But if you're in an environment where everything is free and plentiful, you don't have an incentive to do that kind of behavior or to exhibit that kind of behavior, rather. You know
right. But so what incentive would the person who's sending all this stuff have to send it to your establishment, to pay the money to send the shit the hot sauce, make the hot sauce how you like it deliciously at such an abundant rate to all these places? What incentive would they have to constantly keep doing it?
Well, when it comes to business in that regard, it's it would come down to what's the demand for that specific product in that particular area. So if there's a high demand for it, then you're gonna hopefully see a steady supply for it. And
right,
that would be the incentive for it coming, let's say, to Tone's store, for example, for people to be able to get it.
Okay, how about this as a different example?
Or
if LeBron James spent his entire life going to play for the NBA, knowing that he was going to play for free, do you think he would have spent his entire life trying to make it to the NBA?
Say that again, Tom.
So if LeBron James knew that if he went to the NBA, he wouldn't make no money, do you think he would have practiced his whole life and trained his whole life just to be in the NBA, just to say, I play with a bunch of people that play basketball? Good.
I would have a tendency to say no, because there would be no incentive other than for him to have the bragging rights to say that I played with these people. But aside from that, there's no other incentive. And that's exactly what I was saying about your hot sauce example, is that there's really no incentive aside from that for that person just wanting to be a mean asshole to other people. And like you pointed out, there are people like that exist. But I would conjecture that at that point in that type of environment, that behavior would be non-existent because there's no incentive for it to exist.
Right. So in my opinion, I believe that people's ability to, like, okay, I don't think there's nothing wrong. I think we work too many hours, definitely, because everything's expensive. But I don't think there's anything wrong with people working for what they get. Because some people aspire for more than what your average person. That was kind of the point I was trying to make with the hot sauce thing, but I didn't have time to like put it all together. But some people want more than just what everybody, because like, so let's say everybody gets this amount of food, this amount of this amount of that, because that's what's being supplied. Hold on. Because you don't have it.
Yeah, but this is to address like the communism thing, that because you said it sounded like communism. I'm not saying that things are being rationed out
Right. No,
to
I'm not saying
people
that either.
like you would imagine in the communist system. What I'm saying is that things would be cheaper because the technology, which is what automation is, dictates that things become cheaper because they're produced in a more efficient manner. And
Right.
if you know anything about technology, like I pointed out with the cell phones, technology makes things better and cheaper. And as a consequence, we tend to lose our jobs to technology that can perform those same tasks more efficiently. And as a consequence of that deflationary, action, um, what I think, the future would look like is that things would be cheaper. You won't have to work as much, and things will also be more plentiful. But the system that we live in won't allow that to happen because then it give us too much fucking free time to actually think about what the fuck is going on the planet.
Right.
But
But I mean, see,
before you respond, I want to address Cam's comment. Salute to you, Cam. Appreciate you for coming through. Same to you, Frank. What about those guys who bought all the sanitizer in stores and were trying to flip it? That's something people needed per se. There was a real demand for that. Um, I remember what you're talking about, but I'm not exactly sure what you're trying to get at. But what I would say in response to that is that yes, I do remember that, just like the thing with the tissue. But what's the incentive? Because when it comes to people's behavior, you always have to look at the incentive. And the incentive was profit in regard to the sanitizer.
right.
What other reason would they do that? But if we lived in a society where the sanitizer was plentiful and it was dirt cheap, let's say it only cost 5 cents a bottle, as opposed to $1.50. 5 cents a bottle makes the incentive less attractive for them to have to exhibit this kind of behavior.
I don't
You
think so.
understand what I'm saying? I think so.
I think humans are naturally greedy, sadly. And with the opportunity to hoard and not feel no way about it, I feel like they would. If I'm a person that don't want to come to the store every so often, I'm gonna get enough to not have to come to this bitch for a month. You know what I mean?
Well, I
Like,
do that personally. I only go grocery shopping
right,
tops twice a month.
right. But
Sometimes only once in a month.
yeah, but I'm not about to buy out the store because I can't afford to. But if I could afford to, I probably would buy more. I probably would get more than I had. I mean, you know what I mean? Like more than I got. And
Mhm.
as far as the communist thing, I wasn't saying it being rationed. I was saying like you can only send so much stuff at a time to each place. So if let's say if it's only 50 bottles of hot sauce, like I'm not saying that it's because it's hot sauce. I'm just saying, for example, if it was something where people would have incentive to steal. Hot sauce ain't a good example, but with this one it kind of is. So let's say there's only 50 bottles of hot sauce, right? There's 200 people in this. No, there's 50 people in this town. The first 25 people that come take 2 bottles of hot sauce. That's the 25 people who won't get hot sauce. The next day that they come, them same people get 2 bottles of hot sauce when it finally comes shipped in. Them same 25 people don't get hot sauce. So now you got people who like, I can't get hot sauce and I gotta work at the time that y'all open, so I'm never gonna make it here in time to get the hot sauce. They could be like, oh, I'll sit you some to the side, but then like it's other little BS excuse. But do you get what I'm trying to say?
That's where the technology come in to boost the productivity of turning out more hot sauce so we don't have this problem. And Cam got another statement right here. He said, I've got beef with the automation making everything cheaper statement versus the reality. That would be real in a healthy society, but we ain't in one.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. Cam, we not in a healthy society because the society that we in keeps trying to combat that from happening, but they can't.
Well, you see, the thing is, he's not saying the society that we in. He's saying the mentality of the mass people in our society would not look at it like, oh, well, shoot, since it's free, I don't really have to take that much. The way that our society looks at things is not the people that's molding society. I'm saying the way that we think on a general basis. You take the general amount of people in America alone, they're not gonna go with the like how you say they'll sit down and they'll have time to ponder about other things outside of work. Like look at all the people when they
listen.
Hold on, man. Because I keep trying to get to my end of my point.
When things are more plentiful and they cost less to produce, people have less of an incentive to exhibit that kind of behavior. Another case in point is, you ever seen a penny on the ground? Yeah. Most people don't pick it up, do they?
Right.
But it's money, right?
Yeah. But
why they don't do it? Because the incentive is low.
That's why. But you talk about, but that's because you need so many pennies to get something that they think it has a high incentive. Right, exactly. but what you're telling them to do is take the high incentive.
What I'm saying is technology is going to produce the things that we consume in such quantities to make the incentive for people to behave like that almost insignificant. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. See, you still what you're saying in reference of today.
Oh, you comparing two different things to each other. What I'm saying is, you saying, see, a penny is not the goal. Like, money is not what people want. People want what money can give them. You're saying skip the object, skip the thing to get what you want. The penny is a piece of what you need to get what you want. So if you want something that's $1, that's 1/100th of something that you want. Versus you saying just get whatever it is. So that's the value thing. The incentive is whatever they want. So if like they're hungry, that regardless of how cheap that bread is what they want. They're not gonna devalue it because like if I was walking down the street and I don't, you know what I'm saying, and I saw a fucking cell phone, just because it's a cheap cell phone don't mean I might not like, oh shit, can I flip this bitch? The point that I'm making is like, so what you're saying is like, money is not what people go, like money is not the end goal. Money is the tool to the goal. Like, I don't want the hammer, I want the house, or I want whatever I'm trying to get hammered to be established. Money is the hammer.
I understand your analogy, and I agree with your analogy. And that would even make my example, it would highlight it even more, because exactly what I'm saying is exactly what would play out in that situation. People know that, let's go with what you said, that it's not the money, it's what the money can will allow you to do, right?
Right.
If it was a $10 bill on the ground, what do you think would happen?
Somebody would pick it up because it's not 100.
But why?
I'm about to tell you why.
Because the incentive is different. That's why.
It's not. It's not. I don't think it's an incentive thing.
The incentive is different because $10 will get you closer to what you want than a penny, but they're both money.
Yeah, but we're not talking about getting to what you want. We're talking about what you want already. Is already available. See, like if I wanted something that was $1, $10 would get me 10 of those. Exactly. A penny, I would need to find a penny 100 times. and the difference between those two is the getting to the end goal. Which one is going to get me to the end goal faster? Sitting here looking for 100 pennies on the ground, or this $1 $10 bill?
That is the incentive.
Right.
Is
But
that
what I'm
this
saying
is
is,
going to get you? Is that this choice you incentivize towards this choice? Why? Because it's going, not only is it going to get you the way you got to go, but it's going to get you there tenfold. So you have much more of an incentive to go that way than to take the penny, even though they both will get you the minimum of what you want. See, it all comes down to incentive. Cam got another comment. I appreciate the commentary. Productivity has risen at the highest rate in history, but income relative to that productivity has flatlined, if not declined. We're on sick society. We're
in a
in
sick society.
we're in a sick society designed to make us mentally ill. Gotta be aware. I agree. I agree that we are in a sick society. And rest in peace. Salute to the most magnificent grandsister, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She made a statement that for some time I had to wrestle with coming to terms with it. And the statement that she made is that no black person, at least in America, me personally, I would say no black person on earth in March of 2022 qualifies for mental health. And it's a direct result of the system that we live in. That system being the system of racism or white supremacy. They're the same thing. And that is a very sick society. But nonetheless,
I got
go ahead.
I got one more question for you.
Go ahead.
What would be the incentive to be anything beyond average?
Say again.
What would be the incentive to be anything beyond average?
I guess it would depend on the person's motivation. For me personally, what I consider to be more than average, my incentive for doing things, at least for the most part, for doing things that would consider me to be more than average, usually are altruistic. So I usually have thoughts in my mind of doing things that's going to benefit the most amount of people. And I don't have to be known for it. Like if I invented something that everybody benefited from, it's just my personality. I don't have to have accolades for it. Nobody ever have to even recognize me for it. And I'm not getting ready to go around and be boasting about it. You know, I get my satisfaction out of being of service to people, whether they are aware of it or not.
So how great would you say of an impact that is on the world as a whole?
It's to be determined, I guess. I'm not really sure, but because for the most part, I don't see that same type of behavior out of most people. A lot of people do things, some of the things that motivate them to do the things that they do for very selfish and narcissistic reasons. Myself included, at least to a degree. But I really don't have an answer to that question.
What I'm saying is, what motivates, like, okay, to be above average and to have an impact on the world, like there would be almost like a legitimate impact. Not saying that money is the only incentive, but what comes with the money is what ends up becoming an incentive to be, somebody like, I mean, sadly, this is terrible, but like Michael Jackson. His dad wanted a lifestyle that obviously like they didn't have. And granted, I don't agree with his methods, but look at the influence he's had on culture. Look at the influence, like, even though I don't like these people, I don't like these people, but like, for instance, where would we be without the internet or a nigga like Bill Gates, or like even though I don't like Jeff Bezos, like look what he didn't turn like the working everything into. Like everybody changing the whole way that they go about running jobs now because he decided to go do it, and he did it. He did it for the money.
Jeff Bezos, shit, he put a lot of small businesses out of business.
True.
I don't know if he did it intentionally, but that's damn sure the result of his actions. And I can't really say if that's a good thing or a bad
But
thing.
that's what's gonna happen when you switch to automated. That's what's gonna happen too, because the computers are gonna be moving faster than your regular mom and pop shop.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Right now at this point in my life, I would trust incorruptible computer code running shit more than I would trust other people to do it. So
the person who programmed it could be corrupt.
That is true. That is true.
And there's nothing you could do to uncorrupt the computer when they programmed it into. At least you could kill the motherfucker who corrupt, put the motherfucker who corrupt in jail, but you can't uncorrupt the computer.
Why not? You could turn that motherfucker off. You can put a
Yeah,
virus
but then
in
now, what's the point of having an automated machine that don't do nothing? You know what I mean? Like, now it's just here.
You could come up with a better version.
True, but what's to stop that next person from being corrupt? What would motivate me to decide I'm gonna make something better than that? Besides, I'm just tired of their shit. You know what I mean? But like, we got niggas who tired of being broke, tired of living in the hood, tired of getting killed by police, and they ain't changed nothing. They gonna do nothing different.
That's true. But what incentive do they have to change anything?
The sad part is they got a lot of incentive. You could look across to another neighborhood and see. You could go look at a Mexican family and see what incentive you got to actually working together and trying to figure some shit. Like how they go from a country they don't belong in to doing better than you, and you've been here for 400 years.
Well, I can tell you why the Spanish people is doing better than we are, and we've been here as long as we've been here.
I know why, but what I'm saying is we haven't changed nothing in the past 40 years in how we move. We sitting here watching other people do it. It's physically right in front of our face.
It's been longer than 40 years.
I'm saying the last 40 years because that's all I can be accountable for.
But you have to contextualize the entire experience, because just saying the last 40 years don't really explain our behavior. You understand what I'm saying?
Right, but prior to that, we had no choice.
You see, this is a misconception that a lot of us have. In order for us to have a choice, right? First, we got to make that decision in our mind. And the very next thing that we have to do is eradicate and eliminate this system and make a new one.
How?
Let me finish. We ain't even gonna get to the how. We got to deal with what the fuck is the problem.
We know what the problem is.
We don't know what the problem is. And proof of the fact that we don't know what the problem is you still got a lot of black people who sleep with white people as if that's the solution. When if that was true, we would have solved our problem with white folks on the plantation, because there was plenty of that going on back then.
See, here's where I disagree with your statement. It's not that we don't know what the problem is; it's we not willing to do what's needed to be done to solve the problem.
Believe you me,
niggas look at the problem every day.
Listen to me. I don't disagree with you. However, just because you see something don't necessarily mean you actually understand it. And you could talk to black people. I talk to black people, and I could tell that they don't understand what the fuck is really happening to them. And when you don't understand what's happening to you, there's no way that you can solve that problem. And so what I see a lot of us do is we act like there is no problem, even though we know that there is one. And that's because we haven't been able to correctly identify what the problem is and be honest about it.
So what would you say the problem is if you could put it in a few words? What would you say the problem is?
The core of all of the problems that Black people have in America, I can sum it up in 2 words: white people.
So what would you say is our problem, our biggest problem right now? Not the core of our problem, but our problem that's hindering us from getting to the core of the problem.
Our problem, in my opinion, is that we don't have the time to sit and actually put the proper amount of thought into the problem that we have in this country as a group of people. And as a consequence of that, we ignore it, act like it doesn't happen. We fail to acknowledge that it's a problem or to come up with any viable solutions to solving the problem. And we are not honest with ourselves about the situation that we in. I think that's the biggest issue with us as a group of people.
I'm gonna tell you the 2 most important words you said throughout that whole sentence. It was we and us. Our biggest problem right now is us. We not looking at how we the part we play and where we at. And we keep just being like obviously the way that people think the way they think come from a certain place. But nobody that's at this point it's starting to slowly but surely become a cop out. Because at this point, when you get to a point when you like, well, why don't they? Well, because this happened before. The nigga saying he acting like this because of something that happened before he was born. Not because this and my dad acted like this, so it flew up on me. No, because they don't think that deep into it because they got a scapegoat to just jump to. But once you actually sit and think like, well, my dad acted like this, and I started acting like this because my dad acted like this. That's when you able to say, I don't want to act like that because 1, that's not a cool way to act. But 2, just because my dad act like that don't mean I gotta be that. I want to choose to be my own person. But we don't sit there and do that.
With what you have to understand with us as a group of people, and this is why I was saying to you, you can't just say the last 40 years. You really have to contextualize the entire experience. Is one of the reasons, at least in my estimation, one of the reasons why we keep failing to address the situation and really do anything constructive about it en masse, right, is due to how long we've been having this experience, because it's been 10 times as long as 40 years. And I say that to say that not only have we been groomed, right, to exhibit the behaviors that we do, but also to highlight that how long it's been happening. And so you have to address and acknowledge that as part of the problem in order to understand why in 2022 we still having this same problem.
Because we still talking about the problem and ain't nobody talking about what to do or just doing it. Every time somebody say what to do or just do it, they get shot. But that's because it's just one person saying it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's just one person. Like how many niggas, like how many Malcolm X's you see when Malcolm X is doing his thing? Just one. How many Martin Luther King? Just one. You ain't see a bunch of people like, yeah, there's some bullshit. Yeah, it's some.
You literally, the way I see it, literally all of us have to behave in that manner, because what you see with a lot of Black people is that we rally around like the loudest motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? That seems to have some principles about themselves. So we'll rally around a Malcolm X. We'll rally around a Martin Luther King. Now we won't put our life on the line for him. You know what I'm saying? At least not most of us, but we'll rally around him. And we have to get to a point where each individual black male emulates that same kind of behavior. Now that could be a pipe dream because some motherfuckers is who they are. But it's just my consensus that once you get the majority of dudes acting in that kind of a manner, or like I say it, but in a roundabout way, once you get most black men to being serious about serious shit, then you'll start seeing motherfuckers change. But you got to keep in mind, we still stuck in the same system that only allows us to exhibit certain behaviors and punishes us when we exhibit behaviors that is considered to not be allowed. That's why you hear niggas say shit to other niggas like, you talking white, why you trying to be smart? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's wrong with being intelligent?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? It's the system that makes us think like that. And so while I do agree with what you're saying, only to a point, is that it is us who have to make the decision ultimately in our minds that we're going to make these changes. But you have to understand that these changes, it's not an easy thing to do. Like me, for example, you hear the type of shit that I say about white folks. Do you think it's easy for me to walk around and have that kind of conversation with other people? But I be thinking that shit. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. But we as black people are so leaning towards what's easy. What's easy. And like,
Exactly.
it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
Do you know how difficult it is to try to get black people to just be suspicious of white people? Not saying that white people are racist, just to be suspicious that they might be.
Shit, most of the black people I know are suspicious of every white person.
Well, most of the black people I know think I'm fucking crazy. When it comes to anything to do with white people. Oh, here come that nigga again talking about the white people.
It's my personal opinion, and I'm gonna leave it at this. It's my personal opinion, and one of the craziest things that they let a white man do to the black man was convince him that it's the white man's fault that he hurting his own brother. Because you take the responsibility and accountability for your actions out of your own hands and put it in somebody else's. Thus, you don't feel responsible. Thus, you don't feel no incentive to change your action.
And I would like to highlight that in what you just said allows white people to have plausible deniability from the fact that they create the situations that we find ourselves in doing these things.
They create the situations.
Listen. That what you just said allows plausible deniability for white people who put us in these situations that we find ourselves in. Because I don't recall no Africans jumping on a boat coming over to America so that they could live in the ghetto on top of each other in like a maze of fucking rats with no fucking no economy behind you, no education behind you, but then tell you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps while they dumping drugs and guns in your neighborhood like they do in Chicago and other places.
Right. Like you said,
now
they're responsible. They're responsible for the predicament.
That's how they operate. But that's how they operate, though. That's how white folks operate. They motherfuckers are mad scientists. I mean, really, to be perfectly honest, I know people might say I hate white people. I don't. This is purely business. And this is the business that white folks chose. I'm just calling it like I see it. But
Right.
I got to give white people a round of applause and a motherfucker well played. Because if you was to put this situation between white folks and black folks in this country in an analogy of a football game, black people ain't scored a touchdown never in the game. And white people have been winning the whole time. And I don't know about you, but my folks tell me if you play the game against somebody and they always winning, their motherfuckers is cheating because nobody wins all the time.
Right. But they might put, like I was trying to say, they might have put us in a predicament, but we making the decisions we make in those predicaments.
That's
like
true.
Back in the day, at a certain point, they decided to try and escape. They decided to work together at a certain point. We say every man for themselves. Like they put us in a box with one piece of cheese and 4 people, and we could decide to slice that shit 4 ways or fight over the one piece of cheese and last man standing get that one piece of cheese. And that's what we chose to do.
And with that, I will revert back and recommend that you guys listen to what I said about incentive, because incentive is manipulative. Women use it on niggas all the time. The incentive is the pussy, and that's how you get manipulated. White people do niggas kind of in the same vein. Your final thoughts before we get out of here, Tone, because I got to get up early in the morning. It's already 10 o'clock, and we over an hour. But I appreciate all you folks for being here this evening. Cam, my own thinking cap, and Miss Misha, of course, and Frank, and all those who are secret watching. I appreciate y'all, too. Final thoughts, Tone?
I just want to say, take responsibility for what you can control and focus on what you can control. And fuck these gas prices.
Oh my goodness. All I can say is get you a 4-cylinder and you'll save some money on gas prices. Matter of
I'm about to
fact,
get me a Middle Eastern bitch. Fuck you talking about?
I know that's right, my nigga. Ain't nothing
Marry
wrong
into the gas.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Get some gas and some ass.
Exactly.
Shout out to the homie Roe. Hopefully, he'll be joining us for next week's show. That's what the plan is. I hope he's safe out there, doing well. Congratulations to you, Tone, on your comedy show. I did catch a clip of it on your Instagram. Make sure you guys check out Tone if you're ever out in the Arizona area. Tone, you got any shows coming up soon?
Right now, none booked, but I plan on getting some booked for April.
Okay. Yeah, April is well, we already back in the daylight savings, ladies and gentlemen. It's not getting dark till 7:30 over here on the East Coast. The summertime is coming, and that's when all the hoes get naked. You know, that's when they wear their bra and their panties, aka they 2Bs, out in public. We talk about hot girl summer. It's gonna be a good summer.
Hot girl summer, nigga.
I'm gonna be out there on my motorcycle doing my thing, fizzle my dental. But until next week, I just want to say that these are the type of conversations that we should be having amongst each other, because we supposed to be men, and as men, we should be serious about everything except for the things that we don't need to be serious about, because all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But your auntie don't think so. Make sure you tell her to subscribe to my motherfucking channel. This has been another episode of 3 Niggas on YouTube, but only 2 this evening. We'll see you motherfuckers next Monday. I got Bitcoin resources coming next Sunday evening at 9 p.m. Make sure you tune in so I can show you what you can do with your Bitcoin when Justin Trudeau shuts your bank account off. Shout out to you, Misha. Hope you're doing all right up there in Canada. Springtime is here. Spring again. Salute to the homie Biz Markie. Rest in peace to MF Doom, who we played on the intro. Beat done by the great, the one and only Flying Lotus. If you down with hip-hop beats and producers, if you know anything about that. But we're going to get out of here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me at the Incredible T.O.P on Instagram. Make sure you hit up Tone on Instagram and on motherfucking TikTok. Don't forget, stop in and check out one of his comedy shows if you're ever out in the Arizona area. Until next week, peace, fellas. Peace, ladies. We'll see you. Take you out with Kev Brown.
Hoje foi que a perdi, mas onde já nem sei, me levo para o mar.
Hey, I keep hearing this voice like in my head. I can't understand what it's saying. It just keeps repeating over and over again. Like it's like a dream you can't wake up from, like, kind of like that. Yo, no doubt, man. It's timeless music right here. It's timeless, man. Kev Brown. Here we go, y'all. Yeah, it's just the way the game goes, I guess. The ones on top and always the best. Politics of the biz in every walk of life. Some places it ain't safe to walk at night, but the real grimy spots in the daylight where they smile in your face and still ain't right. They more counterfeit than real, man. Cats is fake, generic prescription pills. I try to be true to myself, looking at the whole situation I'm facing. I need a vacation, I can't afford it though. That's why I'm up in this junk, making beats and recording flows. The pros outweigh the cons. I keep telling myself when I'm going against the odds, the pros outweigh the cons. Yo, you know, arms short, box guard. Just come on. Just come on.